Ba 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 ba. No jingles here. We are patent pending free. Yo, welcome to Cameos. It is Tuesday night. We are back at you. I think 2 weeks in a row. I don't think we took last week off. It was the week before. So we are consistent. We are back. We are full squad, even though you can only see half of Samson's head right now. But as you guys are well aware by now, thank you for joining us in the chat. As always, I am with you as always with Samson, Fu Money, and Just Ramblin'. We are your Cammy crew, bringing you all of the week of news in entertainment media, anything across Hollywood. But we like to do our deep dives on Marvel, which we are going to dig into a little bit here tonight on our featured segment, catching you up on the ending of Secret Invasion and the not so secret fact that I think it disappointed a lot of its audience. So we will dig in there. We will be giving spoilers away on Secret Invasion. So if for whatever godforsaken reason you want to go in blind, there's not really a reason to, but you might want to steer clear of that part of the conversation for now. But that's later. So let's, without further ado, Fu, hit me with this week in the news. That's like some Dr. Seuss shit.
What's up, y'all? And unlike Dr. Seuss, I won't cheat on my wife while she has cancer and dying.
What a transition.
Starting off on a high note, I see.
Yeah, what a transition.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So, Castlevania Nocturne is coming to Netflix. I know the crew is excited about that. It's gonna be some hot tamale stuff. So check it out, September 28th, only on Netflix. Don't know if it's gonna be weekly or it's gonna just dump. So don't know.
Okay, so they said Richter Belmont. That's not the name of the main protagonist from the series that just ran, right? Wasn't that somebody else? What was his name?
Never seen
Trevor.
Trevor.
The main one,
Thank you.
from the previous is Trevor. Richter's from one of the games.
Richter is like one of the original characters. So I think this may be a prequel to the show. If y'all haven't watched it, the show, definitely add that to your watch list. Really good animation style, solid story. They don't really, there's no filler bullshit. A lot of action.
Is it a prequel?
I thought Richter was, because like Trevor's the last of his line, right? That's the whole thing with him. Like he's the last of the Belmont line, right? Like he comes from a line of vampire slayers. I always read it as Trevor being like the end of the lineage. And so Richter would have been one of his ancestors.
Did they pull an Avatar Korra?
Nah, they're just a bunch of games. All the Belmonts are in the games. It's just we don't know if Richter is before or after Trevor. Yeah,
and by we, I mean
it's
Samson.
me. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Sean may be right.
I'm pretty sure that the way that they set up the Netflix show was that Trevor was supposed to be the end, and that he didn't. I mean, throughout the show, the one thing that didn't change was he didn't like his family line. So I can't see him like picking that shit back up. Also, their castle was like destroyed. That was like just part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And like Richter was one of the main people. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So we got a variety of news in here. Kevin Spacey has been found cleared of all charges in the UK.
Absolutely wild.
Whatever.
How many of his victims, accusers were in the UK?
I don't know. It doesn't look like there was any info about the US trial, if any, exists. So we're a little limited there on insight. But
how insane is it that he had like people claiming his like debauchery from across the globe? It wasn't just like some women in the US. Yeah, like God. Oh, women and men, I guess, because like I think his thing was underage. Men, males.
As long as you're under 18, he's ready to go. But yeah,
put it on his tombstone.
Yeah, but no, it's I don't expect to see him in anything anytime soon. So, but they brought back what's his name?
So are we saying he's innocent? Is that what we're saying?
No,
according to the UK,
he was found not guilty.
Bring back Kevin Spacey. Make 7-2.
Baby Driver 2.
7 in Resurrection.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Sean Trevor is the ancestor. Richter's the most recent one, or one of the more recent ones.
So Trevor's an old Belmont?
He's like the start of the new Belmont line.
Ah, okay.
Avatar Korra, got it. All right, moving on. Marvels will not release in IMAX, so there you go.
Yeah,
that's the news.
Hilarious.
Dune Part 2 got the bump. You will still see it in premium screens that are not IMAX. So your XDs, the Dolby, yep, all that other jazz, but not an IMAX. Won't happen. Mm-hmm. So
it's fine. IMAX is expensive anyway.
Go watch Dune. Yeah. What if it makes more money because people are going to see it on regular screens?
Then maybe IMAX will suffer. Those people will stop seeing things in IMAX. It's just not worth it.
Did you see either Barbie or Oppenheimer in IMAX?
Nah, Oppenheimer was 3 hours long, and I just couldn't find enough IMAX theaters.
Pupils would be like, they'd look like those little nuclear explosions by the end of that movie.
Yeah, and the explosion looked amazing, but like it's too long, and they didn't have enough theaters because of Barbie and Mission Impossible.
Did you see the Florence Pugh version where she's wearing the black dress that they sell in Saudi Arabia?
No, I didn't.
They banned all the sex scenes and the nudity, and they had her just with the black dress on. They CGI'd it.
Jesus,
Nolan allowed them to CGI his movie. They CGI'd it because they let it still air because it's about bombing, so they liked it over there.
Yeah, I was about to say that's.
But they're gonna ban Barbie. Doesn't have any bombs, but too much women, right? That's the problem.
So Barbie is not in Saudi Arabia.
It's looking like it's gonna get banned.
And Oppenheimer is, but they had to spend probably more money on the CGI budget to throw a dress over Florence Pugh than
there's like
cost to make the bomb.
There's 3 sex scenes, I guess, 2 or 3. So maybe it wasn't that.
Yeah, Oppenheimer was getting it in.
Do you count the explosion as a sex
scene? That's like an orgasm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Moving on. Daniel Kaluuya's Barney movie and we knew this before, will be more adult and have adult themes. So what did they say? It will be sort of a little bit off kilter. I can hear him saying that in his Hobie voice.
Is this gonna be like Guillermo del Toro's Winnie the Pooh movie or whoever made
Pinocchio? That? Weird ass.
Oh, movie. That was it. Was it Pinocchio? Yeah, when those things got what's it called when anybody can use the IP anymore?
Oh no, that's Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey.
I mean, it was a public domain.
Public domain, yeah. So it became public domain.
Barney is not public domain.
I think.
So how are they getting away? Oh, so PBS just charging for money?
No, wait. I thought Mattel owned Barbie in the same way they own. Barney in the same way that they own Barbie and.
Yeah, they're gonna have a Mattel shared universe. So Barney, Polly Pocket, Hot Wheels, Magic 8 Ball, Uno.
I want to see Hot Wheels go head to head with Fast Five and that whole franchise.
Yes. Oh my god.
I don't know why anyone would want a Magic 8 Ball franchise unless they make it a horror movie.
It's got to be a horror movie.
Yeah, like a cheap ass like $2 million horror movie that's gonna make like $20 million in returns.
I feel like these studios are taking the worst possible like opinions away from these big successes. Because it's like Barbie was successful because it had a great marketing campaign. Everyone on social media loved it.
That they weren't even responsible for. Like the marketing campaign definitely maybe somebody had the idea to make the connection with Oppenheimer, but that shit ran itself. That Twitter campaign just it just took off.
Absolutely. So it's why not just appreciate it being a good movie and not try to blow up a cinematic universe the way they do with all these other films? What was it? The monster cinematic universe they had planned at Universal? They always take the worst things from these films.
I was actually excited about that. I'm sorry.
It would have been cool.
If the Mummy wasn't so stupid, we could have seen more of Dr. Jekyll's by what's his face? Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
he could have been fighting around the world.
And it was Captain Nemo, and there was a bunch of other ones. But somehow Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie or in a Mummy movie, and it flopped.
It didn't land.
It was bad writing.
had to have fucking
That was a terrible movie.
It got carried with his star power. That's it. That's all I can cover. So Echo's lead villain has been allegedly revealed, and they are tied to Daredevil. If you have not seen Hawkeye, then this would be news to you. If you've seen Hawkeye, then this should be pretty damn obvious who the villain is in Echo.
Yeah, don't say it.
So go watch Hawkeye.
Yeah.
There's a Captain America musical in Hawkeye, so go check that out.
Why would you spoil the best part of the...
I spoiled the first 3 minutes of Hawkeye.
It's in it twice. I'm pretty sure it's in it twice. I'm pretty sure you get a...
The full musical is at the end credits of the final episode.
Yes.
Which was genius.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, very, very high reviews came out. Mutant Mayhem is the name of the movie. So 95%, definitely go check it out. It's apparently very rad dude is the terminology we're using here. For those of you who are young and don't know what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is, or old and have bad memory, it was a franchise from the 90s. Very popular live action movies, animated movies, TV shows, etc. It's about teenagers that like pizza, but they're turtles.
Yep.
I don't know if they were people and then became turtles, or were they turtles that got mutated.
Wait, really?
I'm assuming they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Wait, hold on. You really don't know?
They were
No,
turtles.
I don't know the backstory.
They
They
were
were
little
wow.
turtles that got
Yeah, they're
mutated.
turtles. Yeah.
But why do they know ninja stuff?
Because
Because of Shredder?
Because
Master
Splinter.
Splinter.
All I remember is that college humor video from Ninja Turtles, where they had Master Splinter do weird shit, and he didn't like one of them for some reason. Anyway,
Mikey.
yeah. So Gen 5, that is the Boys spin-off. Teaser trailer came out.
No,
Gen V.
It's Gen V. Fool.
I keep saying this. Why did we put this again? Didn't we talk about this last time?
It's probably the trailer came out for it.
The trailer came out, yeah.
Yeah, last time it was announced. Now the trailer's out.
Speaking of Barbie, they cut a scene from Barbie that's a fart opera. I would have gone and seen it if I knew this was existing. I would have seen this in IMAX.
Yeah, apparently nobody laughed in the with the screenings.
I don't.
The director said,
I have not seen the movie, but that does not seem to match what I understand.
Nah,
the
it
tone
would
of the
match.
Movie. Yeah,
Nah, it would match. Yeah, it would match.
the director thought it was
That's fair.
freaking hilarious, but she agreed with the test screenings and just took it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would match the way
Okay.
Barbie's set up and the things that play out. It would have matched.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, fit in there.
The writers, rather than going back to the negotiating table, studios are cutting their first look deals. That's where they kind of have it, someone on retainer for a while. It costs them quite a bit of money, so they're cutting those. And then they said that most of them they're going to starve out the writers and the actors. So basically, going to wait until they can't make any more money and they're all starving and desperate, and then they'll come back. But right now, there's no hope.
It's the Mr. Burns shit.
We're in it for the long run.
But I understand the first look deals. At first, I read that and I was angry. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. Now I'm I kind of get it. Yeah.
This is not active production. It's just I'm retaining you.
Yeah, we don't need you on retainer. But I would hope that they still come to the table and negotiate in good faith.
Nope.
For something else.
They'd rather just wait it out. They have cash. They can handle it.
That's a problem.
The execs are still getting paid, so why do they care? But they're beholden to the shareholders. So the moment that the company starts hemorrhaging money, that's it. I read that. They're these companies put themselves in so much debt to make movies, to make potential money and profit, that if they actually stop making movies, their numbers might look a little better because they're not in any active productions. So they're just maintaining the status quo, which is friggin' hilarious. Of course, that's not long-term thinking, of course, but
I think they kind of stand to lose a lot, not just with paying the actors and writers more, but also with the residuals. In order to do that, they would have to reveal actual streaming numbers. And I think Netflix is the only one who really does that. So it's if they will reveal those numbers, wouldn't that tank their... Huh?
Does Netflix do that?
I believe Netflix is pretty transparent about that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the other studios don't. And it's if their numbers aren't as good as they've been portraying them to be, couldn't that tank their shares, their stock, anything?
Oh yeah, a lot of people stand to lose a lot of money, especially the execs who are pretty much paid in stock for the large part, right?
Yeah.
So if you're paid in stock and that stock loses half of its worth because you choose to tell the truth, well, guess what, buddy? You did not have enough money to work with in the beginning. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nintendo. Loki season 2 trailer was out, so go check it out.
Yeah.
What's the
looks
guy's
pretty
name?
good.
What's Short Round's name in real life? Oh gosh, I can't remember the guy's name.
Ki Hui Kwan.
What?
Okay, Kwan, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in it. He's awesome as usual. He plays Waymond in Everything Everywhere All at Once for the youngins.
Yeah.
Apparently the story is that he's moving in and out of time in the TVA, which shouldn't be possible, right? Because TVA is outside of time, so something awry goes on.
And
we see Sylvie in the trailer,
and we also saw Jonathan Majors.
Yes,
showed him.
Yep, as Victor Timely. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Nintendo reportedly plans to release its next-gen console during the second half of 2024. Yeah, we'll wait and see about that. Give me Luigi's Mansion 5. Now.
I don't want a next-gen console that's not as powerful as the current next-gen consoles.
You're gonna hold your breath forever.
Nintendo will always be
game a long time ago.
Nintendo will always be like a generation behind when it comes
to 2
to
generations. This next console that they're talking about making is going to be not as powerful as the PS5 or PS4 and Xbox. One, it's going to be the ones before that or whatever.
That's ridiculous.
It's probably going to be as powerful as like the Xbox Series S.
That's stupid. Why even?
If we're lucky, if they pump out a machine that can do 60 frames per second at 1440p, I don't
be
think
surprised.
That's because y'all keep paying yourself every Zelda that comes out. Stop buying these games.
Yeah, O'Shaughnessy. I can't even play.
I grew up on those games. It was like my childhood and shit.
Make them give us a better game or a better system. I can't even play like Super Smash Brothers.
Just be like, here's $20.
Terrible.
I'll give you the rest of it once you upgrade.
Make Pokemon give us better games because Jesus Christ, they're terrible.
Yeah, but honestly, those make more money than probably Zelda and Mario combined. Like those.
They make more money than Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that open world one was supposed to be good, and then it's just nothing but lag because the system can't handle it.
Right, because it's not even just the system. It's if you play like Super Smash Brothers, that shit holds up and it looks fine.
No,
Mario Kart,
laggy.
Online, it's laggy, and that's
it's not. It's laggy on like just playing on your Switch.
I disagree with you, but
I'm a pro player. Like literally, it's laggy. That's why I don't play it anymore. It's not worth it.
I think the Switch is optimized enough for like some first party games ish. Asterisks.
Yeah, but like Mario Party and like these fun kid games. I can't do anything competitive on the system. Right? No. And they have
Nintendo has come out and said they have no interest in a competitive like landscape. Like they don't want to get into esports. They don't endorse like Super Smash Brothers tournaments. They like actively try to shut them down when they can.
Yeah, they are.
They don't want anybody to make money off of their IP, like except for them.
Yeah, and in Japan they have the right to do that legally. Yeah, and that right doesn't extend at their borders. They can attempt to enforce it in other countries.
So like when those videos go up on YouTube that features some content from one of their like directs that's considered fair use in America, they still have been known to like do copyright strikes, sue the person putting it up, and that's why they go after ROMs like shit. So like even if you legally own the game and you have a computer program that lets you play it on your PC, which in America is completely legal. Like if you own a copy of the game, you can do whatever the fuck you want with that copy of the game, as long as you're not distributing it and giving it away for free. You can do whatever you want. Japan, they don't like that shit. So they go after ROMs and the distributors of the things you can play ROMs on, like it's their job, like a dog with a bone.
Mm-hmm. Like they're losing that battle against the ROM thing because it's everywhere.
Yes and no. They tried to
Behind the
release an
times.
emulator on Steam, Dolphin. They put on Steam, which was like a big deal because Dolphin is like the big GameCube and Wii emulator. And it was going to be on Steam, which was going to be like, what the fuck? They couldn't do it unless they could get Nintendo's express permission to release it. And Nintendo said absolutely fucking not. And so they had to shut that shit down.
That's a terrible idea. I think if there's going to be any sort of emulation, it has to stay underground because no company's going to be okay with that.
And
But
Nintendo has like hundreds of millions of dollars of cash reserves over like since they like started. So they just have tons and tons of cash. So they literally don't have anyone they beholden to. No shareholders that they give a shit about. Nothing. They could just eat into their cash reserves for the next 10 to 15 years and not give a shit about us players. So, you know, just like O'Shaughnessy said, don't hold your breath.
they're never going to put the consumer first. They're going to put out they care about like their top developers, and those top developers, like granted, the ones who make Mario and Zelda, they do actually care about what they're doing. Pokemon's a different beast entirely, but you can count on Mario and Zelda being good for the foreseeable future.
Instead of Smash Brothers, get into the Nicktoons one. Where they all fight each other.
Nickelodeon Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I mean, why put consumers first when they don't even put themselves first? They're going to keep buying this shit up no matter what, just because it has Zelda or Pokemon, just like Fu said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And work culture in Japan right now is pretty tough for developers and artists. You know, it's been strenuous across the globe, but it's been pretty shit there for a long time. So
yes,
I don't think we're gonna get
their
any much
culture,
headway
but
there.
that's it. Like the Nintendo culture is like ancient. It's like from 50 years ago. That's just the way that they continue to operate. Yeah. They're not about like profits. They're more about pride. And what they care about is like we can make our vision with this hardware that's going to cost like $200 less per unit, even if that's not what the people want. And we'll also have like shitty online to boot. Like we're going to slap some Nintendo online that is just offensive. I don't know. I'm just so pissed off. I like Zelda. I like Mario, but Nintendo as a company, they ain't the same Nintendo that made, or they are the same Nintendo that made Mario, which is the problem. Like they just haven't evolved like Xbox, PlayStation. Anyway, I got off my soapbox. Moving on.
There's a new law that would bar companies like Disney and Universal from a lucrative state tax break if AI is used to displace workers in film and TV productions. So, odd thing to see coming out of a place like Florida, but I can't say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about the law to comment. Does anyone know what's going on?
I just know that they're paying lobbyists to, what I would assume is lobby against this law that's coming out. I mean, I understand if the mandate is to protect jobs, that's what a basic political stance. Of course, there would be a law to protect jobs against AI.
If I order Starbucks via the app instead of sending like a page to go get them, am I using AI? Yeah, I am.
Nobody cares when it's Uber Eats. Right?
Yeah,
because I guess at the end of the day, someone does go and pick it up. And nobody cares if they go to McDonald's and order from a kiosk instead of talking to a person. Right.
What if it's like one of those like little drone choppers that delivers pizza?
They do that in what, San Fran or
that's
couple
California.
Cities?
Yeah, that's California.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think at some point no one will care anymore.
Yeah.
I personally, it's everywhere. I don't want it in film and in film and television, just because I like to see actors and these things be acted out and done well. Right. I don't want to watch everything and there's just a CG crew in the background. That's the goal. It's cheaper for the studios. I don't like it. I don't like any of this.
Tatiana Maslany, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, the She-Hulk, she called out Bob Iger and said that he's out of touch with workers, saying
she said what?
You know, he called Bob Iger out of touch with workers. He doesn't understand what it takes, you know, what actors have to deal with nowadays and stuff like that. And So she's the only real Marvel star that came out and really gave it a mega push.
She's not really a Marvel star. They
could write her out, and that would be not an issue.
What do you mean? She's not a writer. She's the lead.
She's She-Hulk.
No, she's not. Tatiana She-Hulk?
I thought Tatiana Maslany.
I thought Tatiana Maslany was the writer and was the comedian that played Titania.
Oh no! I forgot her name, but no, Tatiana Maslany is She-Hulk.
Oh, I messed that up.
There you go.
That's Titania.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought Tatiana was Titania.
No, Tatiana is.
Yeah, she is. She's She-Hulk.
Because her name is Tahani on The Good Place. Maybe mixing that up.
Okay, that's why. Man,
all these they have like the same names, different women playing different roles, very similar names.
Very confusing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that is She-Hulk. Damn. Okay, that's pretty. That's pretty blast.
Give me Chris Evans talking about all this stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. He can talk all the shit he wants. He's done with Marvel.
Yeah, I don't think she's right though. I think Bob Iger just doesn't care. I don't think anything exactly.
It's not his job to really care. It's his job to keep the company afloat. That's literally it.
I think she has a point in that, like, he was probably closer to the ground.
So
50 years ago, Bob Iger was probably like closer in the like muck of it, like 50 years ago when shit was way different. When you had pages and you were like, "Hey, you want to be a star, don't you?" And like, it was like
the problem
different back then for sure.
The problem is Bob Iger made comments about this, right? So his PR team fed him puff pieces to say, "Hey, put out all of these snippets that basically degrade actors and point them in a bad light." So if you're going to attack the actors and their union based on what your PR and legal engines say you can do within the limits, guess what? The union and actors are going to strike back, right? You can't punch She-Hulk without expecting to get at least twerked against or something. I don't know.
So she made,
I didn't understand
comments. She made comments in response to the comments that he made. Sorry, I'm probably wrong then.
Understood. Yeah. Well,
all right. That's fair then.
I do think like we are at least a decade away from like AI replacing writers. It's not that good yet. It needs a lot of oversight.
Is that why writers have been shit lately? So they're like, ooh, yeah, we're gonna write the shittiest stuff, but maybe we'll get AI to replace us. That's why they keep doing it.
I don't think it can erase writers. I think it can dwindle the amount of writers needed for a project.
Right.
Because it's like if you get an AI to spit out like a skeleton, you get one, maybe two good writers to come put the meat on the bones, and then it's done. As opposed to right now, where it's like a whole writer's room to take care of a project.
Yeah, but I don't want those. I don't want that.
Me neither.
Like a Tyler Perry film.
Yeah.
Everything would have like a weird, like you'd look back on like the projects of like a 5-year span, and you'd be like, holy shit, why do all of the main characters like last name end with like the same 3 letters or some shit? Like there'd be some weird thing that was like the same across all of them that was just like baked in. There would be something like that because it would be written into the programming of it where like there'd be some sameness to all of it. Like they would find some formula and there would be like slight variations on it, but like that's kind of what's happening right now anyway. Like they just find what works generally and then finagle it a little bit. There's some caveats to that obviously, but I don't know. It's a weird dystopian thought.
To Sam's point earlier, my concern is the general public no longer, okay, I'm very much on the side of the writers, but it's like how long until the general public stops caring and just wants content again? Because right now it's like it's a big deal in the news. You got everyone rallying behind writers and actors. Amazing. And I want that to persist. But after a while, the public doesn't latch on to things for long. Something else happens. They get bored. They get frustrated. Hey, I want my new Stranger Things, Euphoria, or whatever. And then the narrative shifts. I don't want it to happen, but we've seen it happen before.
It's the younger generation. Like they're all about activism. But also, to your point, their attention span lasts like 4.5 minutes. So like there will be some new thing. The writer strike will be old news, and they'll be like, I can only watch these reruns of Modern Family so many times. So we gotta move on to the next thing. And
but then, go ahead.
No, that was it. I'm just saying, like like just Raylan's right. Like we're gonna need something, and I know Hollywood knows that. They know that like the writers are going to lose public, support at a certain point, and I think that they feel like they have the cash to wait them out.
This is the same public that didn't give a shit about anything else. You're right.
Right. No, but it's activism. Activism's like hot right now. Like that's the thing to be on for. But that'll change. That will change.
Yeah. I think then at some point they'll forget, and then they'll start churning out just regular stories, the same thing over and over again. And I think
we've gotten a lot of shit lately, so I
think that'll just keep happening, and then people get complacent, and then I'll just stop watching TV and movies altogether.
You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen a good movie featuring prominent actors about COVID specifically. I figured that was off limits for a while. It's ooh, we gotta wait.
Now it's being brought up for sure.
I want to see the Fahrenheit 9/11 of COVID. It's this was, and then you see some A-list actor the chick from Scream. She's like, oh no, my family. Oh, it's we gotta act all empathetic. It's oh well, my family had COVID.
There were some pretty. So the movie wasn't about COVID, but Glass Onion had very big name actors, and that was a movie about people going to a remote island for vacation because COVID was going on, and then all the other shit happened. But Glass Onion basically sent around the fact that none of these people, who were all famous actors, hadn't been on vacation for the past couple of years because of COVID, and they say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. I think that'll be interesting to see if in a couple of years someone's like, oh, let's make this movie. We gotta make the American Sniper of COVID movies.
I want a Contagion COVID movie where just people just start catching it.
Trash.
That's why I think a lot of studios have not made anything like that, because it's still too close to home. Somebody it's you don't know anybody who wasn't affected negatively by it. You know what I mean? You always know somebody.
Whatever the film is, whether it's dramatic, comedic, or whatever, the end credit song has to be Imagine, when all the celebrities came together.
They're already making dumb money, so pretty soon we'll get a true COVID movie.
Samson is right. When he talked about Contagion being, the movie. I mean, Contagion really was the COVID movie. It came out 4 years before COVID.
Was it even that far before? I feel like that. It's too many eggs in bad places. All right.
Moving on. So let's get to our main story.
Speaking of bad movies and stories and writing, perfect segue. What the fuck, Marvel? Can that be the title of this episode? What happened? I think everybody was really surprised. Sorry, go ahead, Fu.
I will say this is the first Marvel property that I've watched of the mainstream MCU.
I'm so sorry.
That I was no. Literally nothing happened. Nothing happened.
It was terrible.
I don't know. Before we go into it, though, just to be fair, Secret Invasion did suffer from massive rewrites.
Yeah.
The person that did rewrite it has never done anything notable or good before.
Apparently didn't even see Civil War because his timeline was all fucked up.
It suffered from the creators not having even read the source material of Secret Invasion.
Yeah, even still, if we ignore all that, whoever wrote
I don't even want to get into that shit.
Ignore all that. The person that wrote this has not written anything good ever. Right? They've never done anything.
Ali, let's say his name. Ali Salim.
No. That's the director. The writer.
Well, fuck.
Don't worry, he's an ass too.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I don't think that guy did any favor. The directing was bad. None of the actors were being taken advantage of. I've never seen a more phoned in.
He had Martin Freeman on there. Just relegated to nothing.
Damn near every actor in that show was quality, and it still was bad.
And to be fair, what did Ali? He said Rhodey got abducted right after or during.
He's speaking for continuity now.
And no, he didn't. Get out of here. That did not happen. Ignore everything that man said. And the writer's name I think is Brian Tucker or something like that. He's never.
I could have written something good for next time. Marvel, just call me. I'll write for you. And you know what? They actually tainted Secret Wars. You mentioned Secret Wars at the beginning, an error, but Secret Wars, it's tainted because of it. Because now, anytime someone thinks Marvel and Secret, they're gonna think of this dumbass shit, right?
I have no hope for Secret Wars, and that's my favorite comic book event of all time. All of it looks bad going in.
Yeah, and honestly, like people were writing about this, like you know that we dump on Marvel Phase 4 and 5, but realistically, if you really think about it, they set up all these heroes, and there's not one interconnected piece, a thread of anything. Yeah, I get COVID got in the way
to this day. To this day.
All right.
But the problem is that you know that this was actually the mandate from Marvel. Feige said, "Don't interconnect the movies together because we're gonna shuffle shit around. We're gonna rewrite stuff. We're gonna move movies behind and forward of each other. We're gonna do all this stuff because you know." Whatever production, it's cheaper. Well, because of COVID and because of all kinds of cheaper things. I guess they really got irritated when they had to rewrite Marvel Multiverse of Madness because it was supposed to happen after Spider-Man. It was supposed to happen before Spider-Man.
Before Spider-Man.
Before Spider-Man, yeah. So they were real irritated about that. So I guess after that, they're like, fuck this. This costs us a lot of money. Moving forward, don't do this.
But
right?
To be fair, there is interconnectivity in places, right? Because
in my
Wakanda
ass.
Forever and Riri Williams is supposed to be in Armor Wars, right? They're setting up.
We haven't even seen anything about that yet.
Still,
except for the fact that it was going to be a show and now it's a movie. So
we know it's happening. That's my point. They're setting up in Hulk in She-Hulk. They set up for like World War Hulk, right? Like they set up for you. You
sure
meet his
about
son.
that?
Yes, you meet his son.
Sure about that?
Yes, you meet his son.
Look at this is the multiversal saga, right now, right? And everything we've seen of the multiverse, with the exception of maybe like Andrew, Toby, and has been ass. Loki's been good. I'll give that those two things, but everything else has been vastly disappointing. Why is the multiverse of madness's extent of creativity round pizza? Please explain that to me. Like everything
I think it's a pizza ball. You gotta give it more credit.
I'm sorry, spherical pizza.
Yeah.
In a paint universe. Yeah, it's just vast creativity on display here.
Red means go. What? Illuminati?
Wait, while we're talking about that shitty sequence, can we talk about the plot device where they just walk in front of a shop that is like a mind-reading machine? Oh, wow, so convenient. I can see this memory, which perfectly moves forward the plot. God! Oh my God! I think that's
invasive.
Oh man, but it's like there's no cohesive plot thread that's bringing the multiverse together. I thought it was going to be the big incursions thing that started with Loki, and then we saw it in the Multiverse of Madness, and that would have been great. But
we saw it a little bit in Spider-Man as well.
I mean, did we?
You know who was
yes,
when the sky started to crack. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you saw all the people who knew, whether they knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man or they just knew Peter Parker, whatever. Like that plot hole aside, you saw the other, because I know Sam was going to get in on that. I know that they were trying to bring in other reality versions of people, which is basically an elaboration of what they were doing with Loki. And then Multiverse of Madness had every opportunity to like tee that up and then like hit it out of the park, which is what they set that movie up to do, which is what that should have been. That's how that should have kicked off.
Remember our sister that died and that's why we're an asshole? Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Bruno.
They should have just stuck with the comics where it's like some big sort of multiversal boom causes the universes to drift towards each other. And since two objects cannot occupy the same space, when they collide, they destroy one another.
Multiverse of Madness. They had it. It happened. It was there. The incursion was happening.
It's so fucking stupid. They botched it. They keep fucking it up. Every time it's supposed to be something that big that links the multiverse together, this whole saga together, they fuck it up somehow. Nope. That's why, honestly, I'm not even excited for the Marvels. I want to be. Kamala Khan is amazing. I'm in love with Spectrum. I would love to see them excel, but every time the MCU has an opportunity to do great, they fumble.
Yeah, somehow Brie Larson keeps getting hotter too. I don't know. It's amazing.
Hey,
It was that dress in that one episode of Jimmy Kimmel, man.
Yeah.
She got super into fitness during COVID, apparently. Like
It's
she's been doing
working.
like her own blog and stuff. I don't like watch all the videos all the time. I'm just like sharing information here.
If you find the video, send them to me.
Loki 2, Crew
Loki.
28. Loki 2, I am excited for. That was the best thing that we've seen since Infinity War and Endgame. Maybe even better than some people.
Is it the same team coming back from season 1?
Give me
would
more
hope so.
Sylvie. I hope not.
Same team from season 1.
Give me Sylvie, because Sylvie was the badass here.
Sylvie's there. So
She works
we'll
with
get-
Sylvie's great.
I don't want one episode with Sylvie. I want Sylvie in all of the episodes. I don't want to see
She
like at
was
the
in
end
the
like
majority of the
She'll-
episodes. She was
she'll
in
probably
like
be alive.
5 out of the 8 episodes, I think.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Brie Larson is the best thing to happen to Fast 10.
Yeah.
All right,
God,
Secret
dude,
Invasion.
I didn't add anything to that movie.
Yes, she
It's so
did.
terrible. Oh
She-
gosh. Just
You love
because
that.
Just because I love that movie, but Brie Larson didn't add anything. The kid, Dom's kid, who now has a body count.
We're talking about Fast and Furious now. Oh god, how
No,
we
we're
have
not.
gone
We're
off the
talking-
rails. Okay.
We're talking about Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion is so boring. We
It's
can't even stay
boring.
on topic for it.
Yeah, it's
There's
not
nothing to
good,
offer.
man.
There's
There
nothing.
was 6
It's so
episodes, and by
bad.
episode 4, we're already like
You
watching
wanna see good
Fast and
Samuel
Furious
Jackson?
and like the
Yes.
picture in picture.
Go watch Pulp Fiction. Samuel L. Jackson did good there. Yeah.
I think. All right. So Secret Invasion plot wise it's terrible. It's all
All right,
over
so,
the place.
yeah.
Everything.
It ended where it should have started.
The fight at the end was so stupid.
The
Graphic
fight is
didn't get any
stupid.
closure with Samuel L. Jackson. Nothing. He got closure with Gaia, whatever the fuck her name is.
Gaia.
The
she's
only
a
thing
real
good about
character.
that
She's a real
show-
Marvel character.
Yeah. The only thing
didn't
good about
like
that
her.
show was Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman was the best.
Yeah.
Every scene she was in was hot.
Plot wise, everything causes World War III for some reason. It doesn't matter what they do. It's going to cause
That's
World
not even
War
just this
III.
show. It's like everything lately. If it's
no.
terrestrial, if it takes place on Earth,
Why
it's World
didn't
War
they
III.
have radiation poisoning? No.
We can't even, don't get into the holes.
I want them to be like, oh well, we gave them these pills, intravenously while they were like suppositories.
You can't
while
just
they
give
were-
them iodine pills every day or whatever it is. Like it doesn't make any sense.
They enhanced them. Now everybody that was hooked up is now an inhuman. That's how they get it. That's the Terrigen mist right
We
there.
really should have
The Terrigen Mist is
formatted.
not able
Oh god, the Terrigen Mist. We should have
Terrigen
formatted
Mist
this
is just
conversation
radiation.
better. I realized we did not even talk about the plot. We just went.
I'm
right
literally
into
trying
hate.
to do that, but you guys are so angry.
That's
I can't
bad.
even get through it because you're
It's
so
not a
mad.
good time. It's not a
All
good
right,
time.
all
I'm
right.
trying to break it down.
All right,
I
give
would
us the
watch
quick-
Ant-Man
give us the
on
quick-
loop in Spanish. In a language I don't understand.
Look at how bad you all are.
Samson, give us the quick breakdown. What is Secret Invasion about? Give us the
All right.
high-level Reader's Digest version.
My misery. That's what
Basically,
it's
Secret
Oh,
Invasion is Nick Fury comes down from space for some reason. Right? They don't really explain why he does. If we're being fair, they don't. They don't actually explain why he comes down from space. But he comes down from space. Skrulls have worked their way into society, right? And they're trying to take over. And they're trying to cause World War III. Everything that they do is going to bring about World War III. Nick Fury and his ragtag team are trying to stop him. Maria Hill dies unnecessarily. There's a British woman who's the only real spy in this entire series. She's the best part. And then there's Gravik, who somehow has a super Skrull machine and who somehow has DNA from a bunch of aliens, but is looking for the coup de grace, right?
The Avengers.
The harvest is what they call
There's
it.
also a mind-reading machine, so they can
It is.
not only copy people's appearance but also
Right.
their memories.
Which
They
they
did that from
actually
Doctor Strange?
nah, that's actually from the Secret Invasion comic. Like actually in the comic, they have this machine. Which again, I don't know how they didn't read the comic, but then decided that we need this machine.
Obviously, they had
that
like a
does
writer
this.
who
Actually read the comic. So I
Yes.
feel like it's bullshit. Someone read the comic and still wrote some trash.
of
But
course.
so there's a machine that it lets them copy the person's memory so they can have like a full clone of the person they're copying, right? But that doesn't matter anyway, because they don't use that at all later, right? Because
Not once.
It's very simple to figure out who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull. Very dumb. And then they just want this harvest. Grant wants the harvest, and I don't know how he doesn't have it in the first place, and I don't know why they kept all the DNA separate, because he has some DNA but not other DNA, and then he has this DNA that from people who weren't even in Endgame. It's just thrown in there somehow, and then Gaia becomes the strongest person in the MCU, and she is then recruited by the British woman in that secret invasion. Exactly. It's garbage. That's the plot is World War III, and then a bunch of things they never use again, and then they use this Russian nuclear site as like a base of operations, but apparently it doesn't matter if you're in there unless you're Nick Fury or fake Nick Fury, because all the humans that were trapped there were just hidden by a plastic sheet. Yeah. And they didn't get.
They're not affected by
cancer.
The radiation.
Right. They just didn't die. Nothing happened to them. And they don't explain it at all. And
I think you glossed over a couple details, but honestly, that's pretty much the gist of it. You also find out that Lieutenant Rhodes, aka Rhodey, aka War Machine, is a Skrull, and he has been for some period of.
We do know it's not. Yeah, since the beginning, but we know it's not Civil War, because that director is
Terrence Howard.
He's on something.
Just the
flip. So
it's like it's just thrown together, and also like the my issue, like let's say with that, right? If Rhodey is a Skrull and they have his memories, Rhodey's a soldier, right? But also Skrulls are soldiers. So at the end of the day, when the British woman, the British spy, she catches Rhodey, she's catching him off guard because he didn't check behind the door. Right, and she's like, "Oh, you're definitely a Skrull. You didn't check, but he should know to check because he has Rhodey's memories. He's also a soldier, so he should know to do this basic thing that every soldier knows to do. This is trash. This is
that was how they like. That was like the gotcha of like, oh, I know you're not you because you didn't look behind a door. It's like, get the fuck out of here. So like,
they should make more shows like this. They should make it like Captain America goes to the grocery store, or like, you know, it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen there? He goes to the milk aisle, like, I can't find it. End credits. You know, next scene is like, ooh, I moved on. You know, I'm gonna change the recipe. That's what this show was. It was a shitty slice of life episodes of what's going on with Nick Fury.
Yeah, I would say they spent a lot of time talking about Nick Fury's romance with a Skrull.
A random Skrull. I don't know why they did that.
Random Skrull person who came down after the whole Captain Marvel event. She came down and she worked with Nick Fury and fell in love with him.
But she was also a double agent, but she was so in love.
Nothing about this show makes sense.
It was stupid. Like they almost killed each other.
They spent a lot of time on that
drunk fan fiction.
Also, hold on. One of the episodes, she transforms back into her like black woman version instead of just staying a Skrull. Like, if you at the house and you know it's Nick, why are you? And he knows you're a Skrull. Why are you?
My thing also was like, why are these guys who are Skrulls just not walking around as Skrulls when it's obvious? Like they don't have to be, and like there's a whole thing about the show about like being your identity, being yourself, not being accepted. Like we want to be Skrulls. We want this to be our planet, like, or we want to be accepted for who we are, which is what Ben Mendelsohn's whole thing was. And it's like, so then why are you walking around in this like fake suit when it doesn't fucking matter? Like, why are you more comfortable in your human skin? Because that's literally the opposite of what you just said.
I literally thought that Nick Fury didn't know his wife was a Skrull when she changed back, only to find out that he knew the entire time, and she just arbitrarily was changing at that point. And
there should have been better ways to figure out people are Skrulls, because just saying, "Oh, you're not a soldier," is a terrible way to go about it. Kind of like what Sam said, where it's like, Skrulls are soldiers; they should know. So it's like they should have done something where it's like, if you dismember a Skrull, their arm turns green.
It did.
Or since Skrulls,
she did.
That's what she did in that torture scene.
Yeah, they do it once. She cuts off a finger because they're stupid. So they do it one time and then they never do it again, right?
Or just have it where since Skrulls are bald, if you cut off a human's hair, quote unquote, the hair dissolves. Something like that. That's not so infallible. Where it's like, oh, you absorb the memories, you absorb the person, you absorb the body. There needs to be something that gives the hero an angle, an advantage into figuring out who's what.
The way
Even if it's just a
that
machine.
last scene should have played out was that Nick Fury should have been like, because you don't see Rhodey suit up one time. Like War Machine is in 5 out of 6 of the episodes of this series, and you don't see him suit up once, which is kind of like, what the fuck? So they should have played that, which is, I think that was just an oversight, budgetary thing. They just didn't have the budget to put the fucking War Machine show in the show, which is bullshit. But like, they could have played that as he couldn't literally wear the suit because of his biometrics.
No,
like,
but that's
some
that's
stupid
the
shit
thing
like
about
that. And then Nick could have been like, I got your suit, put it on. And it's like, I can't, because it has some like, I don't know, biometric thing. It reads his blood. It's like
Sean,
something like that.
I would have been even more mad, because literally the way Skrulls transform is it.
But their blood is
can't
blue.
Tell.
Like,
no, it doesn't matter.
That's the problem. They're too infallible.
It's infallible. You can't tell at all. Like even in the comics, right? Wolverine could not. You can't smell the difference. There's nothing to denote who's a Skrull or who's not. That's the problem.
Okay, well, they obviously didn't follow that
memory.
But
no, they did when they got the machine that stole memories. Right, so no one could tell. Like the Skrulls had every like secret code, every memory that like Captain America or like Spider Woman. All these people had
that shit. They could have MacGuffin that shit with like Tony Stark's tech is so advanced, blah 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 blah. Like whatever. They could have explained it away.
Wakanda's tech is that advanced.
Yo, it would have. Okay, so War Machine's new suit is from Wakanda. Whatever the fuck they wanted to say, but it would have been better than you didn't look behind the door. Like that would have been a way better fucking excuse for like, because the president was literally like, wait, what do you mean he's not Rhodey? And then that was it. Like it was just like the president was just like, maybe he's not, out of nowhere, like for no reason, because Black
Widow had better Skrull stuff, like because of like they were like infiltrating American society as like a family.
Yeah,
that was better Secret Invasion than this.
Yeah,
but I think Sean just hit on Sean just hit on the point where it's like it all just came out of. It's like there was no build up to this. There were no scenes sprinkled throughout the MCU leading up to like, oh, someone's shape-shifting, someone's acting atypical to their usual selves. It was just, hey, remember those green guys from Captain Marvel? They're back now, and somehow they've insinuated themselves all over the globe.
Rocket Raccoon goes to the park and gets mistaken for a real raccoon. I would watch that over this.
I think that for what Ramble is talking about, they could have done that in this show, right? If they made the entire show about the actual invasion, right? If they made it an actual spy thriller where like people are walking around, they're starting to figure out like, yo, there are insurgents here. There are people here that have like inserted themselves into positions of power. How did they get into these places? What's going on here? Right? We don't need a superhero fight. Right? We don't need Gaia and Gravik doing their superhero flying thing, fighting each other with super Skrull powers for no reason to stop World War III. Right? We don't need that. We could stop random assassinations. Right? Stop something else. Do something else. There's like how do these people even like get these identities? Like, who did they kill? Did they kill these people, or did they just let people die and then like slide in the hospital? Which is apparently what Nick Fury's wife did. She was in the hospital room waiting for this black woman to die, and then she took over and promised to love Nick Fury forever. This is stupid. This is dumb.
And they can somehow fix like these people's diseases. Like if that lady was dying, did she pick up her DNA as it stands, all mutated and shit from like whatever cancer shit she had? Or do they like have a way to fix it? Because if they can fucking fix cancer, then why aren't they fucking doing that shit for humanity? You know, that would be nice.
The more questions you ask, the worse the plot gets.
I hope Loki goes back in time and they fix this and they just erase this plot.
It's bad. It's so bad. I hope. Also, what do you do next? Because Gaia is literally just walking around with the powers of every person in the MCU.
You'll never see her again.
Yeah, she has ghost powers, right? Who Ghost doesn't even it's not even a DNA thing with Ghost.
It's a
right?
suit.
Ghost.
Quantum.
Yeah, it's so for those who don't know, in Ant-Man 2, the villain is Ghost, and her ability comes from the quantum realm, right? And she's like literally just phasing at all times. It's not her DNA. There's nothing wrong with her DNA unless they retcon it after she gets cured by Janet Van Dyne, right? So she you can't even copy her power. And she wasn't there for Endgame anyway. She wasn't there at all. So why's her DNA even there? How did you collect this? It's just all over the place. They had an ice blade. Whose power is that? Who has ice blades?
X-Man.
Right, so now there are X-Men there? There were X-Men fighting Thanos now? What is going on?
My thing was, because they pulled it all from the fights that have already happened. I forgot about that.
They had the Iron Man 3 healing abilities for some reason.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Where did this come from?
Because that was not like a genetic thing. That was like a drug that they took, right? That was like,
yes!
Gwyneth Paltrow had that temporarily, but she didn't have that, moving
not
forward.
Not forever.
My main thing that I caught was the Maw. The Maw's power is definitely not genetic. Like he's a wizard. Like he can do that with
power.
She did the Maw's power, and also Mantis's thing. I'm pretty sure Mantis's thing is not a genetic trait. It's like
hers is.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
I would think that Mantis's thing would have been like a learned ability. You know what I mean? Like they just seem to be taking a lot of liberty between learned abilities and like genetic abilities. And I think they just didn't give a fuck. Clearly, they just wanted.
They just wanted to put this out there. They needed something to fill the gap between Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvels.
It was a lot of Guardians powers. Groot's thing you saw a bunch. Drax's arm just kept showing up. Like she just kept.
His arm is a power, right?
Yeah,
he's just strong. He's not like super powered or anything.
He's not even that strong. So there's literally stronger people that they stole powers from. Hulk was there.
Hulk's arm was there.
And you chose Drax.
It was like a toddler. And then when he used the Hulk DNA for like the legs or something, he grew Hulk's shorts. Apparently, Hulk's shorts are part of the DNA.
I guess the people know that. You see these purple shorts, that means it's the Hulk power.
And that's the other thing is like the Groot arm should not have been a tree. It should have just been like he could extend his current ligament structure out. You know what I mean? Like the Drax arm shouldn't have turned into an arm that looked like Drax. It should have just bulked up. You know what I mean? Like it was just annoying. It was an annoying way to do callbacks. And I do agree with Just Ramblin'. It should have been the way that the show started. That should have been what they were fighting against, instead of that shit got thrown in at like the end of episode 4 or 5, where it was like, it was a
major plot point because the guy needed it to survive.
Right.
But this is stupid. It's just
this should have been a whole phase. Like they should have introduced a phase where we know when the Skrulls come to Earth or when they begin their plan to take over, and then have that play out over a phase or two, and then be like Avengers Secret Invasion.
Right.
Where it's like this assembly of the team, like we don't know which one Skrull, which one isn't, have them fighting against each other.
So much better. So much better.
Imagine
have it be when, like, after the Fantastic Four have been introduced. That's where you can have Clerk, the actual Super Skrull.
Yeah, because I was very excited for the Super Skrull. Even the thought of Super Skrull, I was like, oh shit, it's happening.
Psych.
This is like making multiverse of madness and calling it Secret Wars.
Yeah,
that's what they did here.
Also, my issue is like in the end, where like the American people just start killing like random people because they think they're Skrulls, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, and they're not just America. It's happening all over the world. Like,
so the end of the show is that the president knows. President is now like, oh shit, Skrulls have infiltrated. My right-hand man was a Skrull, and then he puts out a declaration that says, we're gonna kill all the Skrulls.
People start doing it.
Ben Mendelsohn is like, fuck.
that part's great, right? That part's great.
That's where the show should have started.
Yeah,
Give me Shang-Chi. Give me Shang-Chi and have him like, I'm working for Wong now. I've come here because, there's been like a disturbance in like genetics or something like that. And like have him like come through like, I don't know. This was a great show to just throw a bunch of interconnectivity at the wall.
See, I think if the show was good, right, they could have had
what did you eat for dinner today? Yeah,
they could have had interconnectivity in film, right? Where like, so then we get into Armor Wars and we get into like
everybody thought this was going to be an introduction to Armor Wars because Rhodey was in here,
right? But it's not, and it could have been, because you can get into Kang Dynasty and then like mid fight, it turns out Captain America dies, and that's not Captain America, right? That's it's not Anthony Mackie, it's a Skrull.
Right.
And now like this thing continues on through like the rest of the MCU, and then we get Avengers Secret Invasion, right? In the way that Ramdan described. That you could have done it like that. But the show is so bad, and now you have to address like, what's Gaia doing? They have to get rid of her power somehow. It's stupid. They're gonna have to get rid of
see her.
We need She-Hulk.
Never again.
Yeah, She-Hulk needs to talk to Kevin again.
Yeah, Kevin. Kevin, what are
stuff.
you doing, Kevin? Yeah, we need some fourth wall breaking stuff. I look forward to, honestly, at this point, I need Deadpool to like take a little bit of the gravity out of everything going on right now, because I think Phase 4 ended up ultimately disappointing in a lot of ways, but I think a lot of people held out hope that all of the groundwork that they were laying in Phase 4 was going to pay off in some way, shape, or form in Phase 5. I think it's obvious now that that's not really happening, and so I'm hoping that like Deadpool kind of comes and I want a palate cleanser. I want something that is just like totally not take itself seriously. I don't have any expectations from it, except I expect to see a bunch of cameos and like inside jokes. And then
maybe Marvel's will be like that, because Marvel's comes out first.
To just Ramblin's point, I have no faith in that movie because it's going to be a self-serious movie. They're
because it's all women. Got him.
I have no faith in it, honestly, because one of the main people that you see in the promotional material is Nick Fury. And I'm like, are they just going to totally ignore all the shit that just happened with him?
You bet your ass they're going to do that.
One of the articles that we were talking about, or I don't know if we actually touched on it, was the fact that the reason that Secret Invasion got reshot in the way that it did, and that it ended up such a mess that it was because Samuel L. Jackson had to simultaneously shoot between Secret Invasion and the Marvels. So his time was split between those two projects in order to not have to pay him to be on set multiple days. I kind of expect it to be phoned in again on his part. Because
I have no faith in pretty much anything with the MCU, with the exception of Loki.
Which comes out in a couple of weeks, y'all. Loki and
wait,
I am Knuff, right?
Hold on, wait. Sorry, Loki does not come out in a couple of weeks. When does Loki come out?
October.
November, right?
October.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, Sean's energy is lacking.
I feel like I have enough said. All right.
Marvel's not enough though.
Listen, we brought this one out. I think as much as we can. I don't want to end it on
CAMEENEWS.
We'll try to put this back on a positive note next week. But look, we're just gonna keep it real, man. This was a big letdown. I think everybody on the stream and a lot of our audience was really looking forward to this popping off in a way that it just did not. So
unsubscribe from Disney Plus.
Unsubscribe from Disney Plus. You heard it here first. Yep. We'll see what comes next, right? So we'll keep you up
watch
on the
the Venture Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, watch the Venture Brothers movie. Before we go, just reminders. I think Guardians 3 should be on Disney Plus, and if this not week. This week, is this week, right? So,
solid film.
Right, that's a palate cleanser. That's actually really good. So that'll be on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it.
Yep.
Jujutsu Kaisen should still be airing. I think I was wrong. I thought it ended with that last episode, but it looks like we get one more. So that
You're
comes
like
out
our
like
resident
Thursday.
anime and manga person. Like, if you can't keep it straight,
I can never keep episodes straight for anything.
One Piece live action August 31st.
Yeah, One Piece live action of the month. So these are things to look forward to. I think that's everything we got coming. Oh, and Invincible comes out November as well.
That's November. We still got a little bit of time on that one.
Yeah, and then watch the Adam Eve hour special.
That scene was amazing.
Really good. Yeah, that it's really good if you haven't seen that. So
go watch Superman Red Sun on Max. It was really good. I slept on it the first time I watched it, but it was actually a good watch through this time around. So,
but do not watch Justice League meets Ruby or whatever that thing is trash. I watched a minute of it and turned it off. So do not watch that.
Go watch a Justice League Dark, not Dark Apocalypse, just Dark, the one where they fight Nicholas Faust. Go watch it, like stream it somewhere. That's not Max. Max doesn't have it anymore. It dropped. Yeah.
God damn it. Corporate greed. Corporate greed. Corporate greed. All right, y'all.
Oh, and the Ninja Turtles Friday.
Oh, I thought Ninja Turtles was already out. Okay, good to know. I want to catch that one. I definitely try to make an effort to catch that one. All right, y'all. Same time next week. We will be here Tuesday night, barring any unforeseen circumstances. But we'll catch you up on the news. Hopefully bring you a little bit more of a positive vibe. We'll try to choose something positive for our... Fu is like, hell no. Fu's here for the hate. Yeah, we will. We'll do a whole expose on the island of... what's
Manhattan.
his name? The island.
Ninja Turtles.
Exactly. Hey, there you go.
Mascara.
Yeah, there you go. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.
Catch you on the next one.